Hello, fiber fans, friends, and followers. My name is Beth, and I am here to talk to you about all of the yarny fun that I have gotten into recently. I just came back from the Knitty McPurly retreat that went through last Sunday, February 2nd. I am recording today on Saturday, February 8th, and I had so much fun. As soon as I got home, I started writing out all my show notes so that I would be ready to podcast today. Before I get bogged down in all of the details of everything that happened at the Knitty McPurly retreat, the stuff was great. I loved getting all of the stuff, buying things and exchanging things and all that stuff. And the one thing that I want to say has left the most lasting impression on me. This is not me choking up. This is me just, I think, with fiber in my throat. Anyhow, the one thing that's left the most lasting impression on me is the relationships I've built. The people I've met, and I may not be able to tell you every single name of every single person I met. As much as I try to remember everyone, it's hard because, this was 100 knitters getting together and, spending quality time with a lot of them, but not, just kind of passing by other ones and, smiling at them, saying hello to them, waving to them, maybe even at times briefly sitting and talking with them and just getting a name. But the overall thing, here's the thing. I always expect people not to like me. And so when I get the idea that people actually do like me, when people show me, I see value in you in some way, I'm always like, wow, really? And I mean, it's so heartwarming. It feels so good to meet new people and see new faces and make new connections with people. And every knitting activity that I have ever gone to, that's the primary thing for me. I always feel like my heart is full, and I may sometimes feel like my social battery gets depleted because being that person, being that social person can sometimes be taxing, because at times you feel like you want to be more like, oh, I'm listening to everything you say and I'm taking it all in and I'm remembering it for the future or whatever. But I think for the most part, nobody expects you to remember their name, their husband's name, their dog's name, their children's names, and who they're married to, and what they do for a living, and all of this stuff. As much as I enjoy getting to know things about people, I personally don't expect them to remember all the details of what I tell them, especially when we've just met. And so I don't think they're putting that expectation on me either. So I always feel like I'm failing someone if I have to ask them again, what was your name? Or what did you say you do for a living? Where do you live? That kind of stuff. I always feel bad, but if somebody ever says to me, where did you say you live? I don't feel like, weren't you listening? So I guess I have to realize that people are going to most likely give me the same grace that I give to them. And if they don't, they're probably not worth my time anyway, right? And now into all of the retreat things. So I'm so excited to tell you all about the Knitty McPurly retreat and everything that we did and all of the fun we had. And I've got things to show and finished objects to share. And I would say, quite obviously, I've got one big one to share with you guys. So let's jump right into it. This is the Grapevine sweater. It is a pattern by Cheryl Beckerich of Wise Owl Knits, and it was made for the retreat. So the Knitty McPurly retreat was held last Thursday, January 30th, was it? Yeah, January 30th through Sunday, February 2nd, and it was in Grapevine, Texas. So hence the name of the Grapevine sweater. And the motif is meant to mimic an actual grapevine. You've got the vine, you've got the grapes, and yeah. So I loved this pattern. It was a lot of fun to do. I decided to make it with a Surrey alpaca silk blend. I believe it's the Dresden DK. It'll be in the show notes. Everything I talk about, all of the yarns, the patterns, everything will be linked in the show notes below. So any questions, drop them in the comments and I'd be happy to answer you. I make it a point to answer every single comment on my videos. So please feel free to ask any questions you would like, and I will be happy to answer them. Or just comment. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. I'm hoping that what I'm seeing on my screen right now is darker than it will look when I watch the video back, because sometimes that happens. It's overcast today, but usually that makes for some of the best lighting in my experience. Anyhow, this is Knitty McPurly yarn, all Knitty McPurly yarn. I believe it's the Dresden DK base. It is alpaca fluffiness. It is a super lightweight DK yarn. And I'm going to go ahead and throw in my video of my twirl here. And I want you to notice the length of my sleeves in comparison to the length of the sweater. And this relates to something that happened at the Knitty McPurly retreat that was a revelation to me. I took a class at the retreat run by Holly Armstrong of Mystery Mouse Yarns. If you're not following her, you should. She has YouTube. She's also on Instagram. Follow her in all the places. And she's Mystery Mouse Yarns on everything. She's got an Etsy shop. Anyhow, she did a class called Fit and Flatter. And she did this excellent deep dive into how to have your best look. We got a whole packet of things about how things should fit to flatter your particular body shape, how to determine your body shape, different tips and techniques on, what kind of garments you should wear and how to make your garments look the best for you. So one of the things that she mentioned in that class was if your sleeves are the same length as the waistline on your the bottom of your sweater, or the hemline, I should say, that is a look that will make you more, I guess, boxy would be the term I'm looking for. emphasizes like that squareness in your body. And if I'm not mistaken, what was said is that that look is not good for anyone. One of the things that she mentioned is if you want a more flattering sleeve, you want it to show that thinnest part of your wrist. So either your sleeve needs to be tight to your arm in order to help emphasize that, or you need to have your wrist exposed. So I think what I need to do, and I knew like there was something about the overall look of this that really I didn't love. And I think what I need to do is pull back my sleeves. You can see how big this sleeve is on me. And I definitely prefer a more fitted sleeve. I think this is due to the fact that my sleeves, I had some issues with my sleeves, but I think mainly this is about blocking, that it stretched when it blocked. And so it's a lot bigger than I originally intended for it to be. So I want to rip back the sleeves. Fortunately, this is not a sewn bind off. I did not do, or did I? No, I didn't. I have been lately. I've been doing a lot of sewn bind offs lately. So this one was not that. So I think what I'll do is I will go undo all the way up to the elbow and start doing some decreases more frequently down until I get to the wrist, and then do maybe, I think the overall length of it, I don't dislike, but because the length of the sweater, the hem of the sweater is the same as the sleeves, I think I do need to bring it up some. And also you can see that when my arms are hanging down, it goes over my hands. I don't need it to be that long. So if I just lift it up to here, you can see that's going to make a difference as far as being a different length than the overall sweater. I don't ordinarily leave my sweaters this long, but again, I do think that was stretching from blocking, and I don't know that I can change that because I do think this alpaca yarn just tends to stretch out like that. So this will be, I guess, a fix-it February situation, and I will take care of getting this ready to be worn again, but not until the end of the month, I believe, because I've got some other things that I would like to work on, because February is a finish things kind of month. So that's my first finished object. And then the next thing I finished, where did I put it? Oh, here it is. These socks. This was the easiest thing, the most transportable, small thing that I had going. And because it's a vanilla sock, it was easy to, it didn't take a whole lot of brain work. So this is what I worked on the plane. Here's the other one. And I finished up these socks finally. So this one has been on my needles since, I think, the 6th of July. I received the yarn and then just caked it up right away. I had been hoping to cast on for the 4th of July, but I ordered the yarn, I think, on the 2nd. And so obviously I wasn't going to get it by the 4th. That was hoping for too much, I think. So when I was working on those, I had them in this bag. So I had the whole all-American look going, and Lori, known as Travel Lori on Instagram, and she has a Ravelry store, a Ravelry page, and she does some designs. She's got a few designs. But anyway, she gave me these stitch stoppers to match all of that. So wasn't that sweet of her? Thank you, Lori. So I do need to get another pair of socks that will be a red, white, and blue pattern and get them going. I have plenty of leftover yarn. I've got 2 cakes here ready to do more socks. I don't know exactly how I'm going to use that, what I'm going to do with them, if they'll be shorties or something else. I don't know. So, speaking of Lori, I don't know if this pattern is still free, but for Valentine's Day, she has a cowl called the Antique Valentine Cowl. And is that what it was? Wait, it's in my show notes somewhere, but not yet because I wasn't planning to talk about it yet. Yes, the Antique Valentine Cowl. It is linked in the new to me section of my notes. So if you're interested in it, take a look there. She had put it on Ravelry for free for a limited time. I don't know if it's still free. I haven't looked at it today. So I have yarn left over from some socks that I did a test knit for, which this pattern is coming out today. So let me show you my finished object. This is the test knit that I did for Leah Loves to Knit. And these will be called the Heart and Soul socks. The pattern is coming out today. You can see I used 2 different contrast colors for the toes. But other than that, followed the pattern to the letter. I thought this was a great pattern. I loved the corrugated rib on the cuff. I'm not sure how well they will stay up. I feel like they fit tight enough to my calf that they're going to stay up pretty well, but I don't know that this ribbing has the same amount of stretch that you see on most ribbing. I don't know. It's not bad. I have not worn these yet, but because my birthday is Valentine's Day, I had this yarn from Leap of Faith Yarns. It was a sock set that I had bought, I believe, last year around Valentine's Day. Let me see if I wrote the colorway name here. Of course I didn't. I don't know what I did with the ball band. Oh, here it is. All right, this is her Smitten sock set. So Leap of Faith Yarns, I don't know exactly where to find them, if it's Etsy or what, but I'm sure if you look for Leap of Faith Yarns on Instagram, you can find this yarn dyer. Again, I have a ton of yarn left over. Now it's stuck on this bag. But so all the colorways I've got left over. I've got a good 20 grams of each contrast color left. Let me quickly weigh up my main colorway and see how much I have. So in Lori's pattern, the Antique Valentine Cowl, there is, it's done in DK yarn. So I'm thinking if I hold this double, that might work. Let me see. My scale is right here behind the camera. Whew, I've only got 64.5 grams left. So I could do a smaller cowl, I guess, but I don't know. Maybe I can, I don't know. I'd like to be able to do it, but maybe I can find like a contrast color to do the ribbing on either side, and that would help me be able to do this. But as I was talking about this, occurred to me that I had not mentioned what the yarn was for my red, white, and blue socks. My red, white, and blue socks, this was Must Stash yarn, and it is in the colorway Old Glory. So I think I've said everything I need to say about all of those. I saw this pattern on Instagram and I thought, yes, that's what I need in my life. Having a Valentine's Day birthday, I feel like I just need to like have something Valentine-ish in my world. And here's another odd thing. For some reason, in the last few months, I have thought, I want to start wearing pink. I want to start knitting with pink. I don't know why. I think as a child, I was very much a tomboy, and because of that, I was anti-pink. I was like, I don't like pink. That's so girly. Ugh. And I don't know why. I shied away from everything girly. And it's funny because my mom was into all of the girly stuff and she wanted me to be super girly. And that was everything I didn't want. Anyhow, so those are all of my finished objects. Colleen, Selfish Knitter, and I are planning to get together somewhere in Wisconsin, to be determined, on February 17th. That is President's Day. So if anybody wants to join us, please reach out to me so I can keep you in the loop on where and what time. Personally, I prefer like a late morning get together, like 10 o'clock in the morning, and then maybe knit until lunch-ish time, and who knows, grab a bite to eat. I don't know. Usually we do like a coffee shop or something. So we'll see what the plan is. Have not finalized those details, but I would love to meet any of you out there if you are open to getting together and joining us for a cup of coffee or hot cocoa or a full-on meal, whatever the case may be. Let me know. Okay, as far as the Knitty McPurly retreat itself, I want to go things in an orderly way, and I'm trying to figure out the best way to do that. So I kind of started just going into it, and then I thought, wow, this is crazy and frenetic, and this is not workable. So first thing, when I got there, we checked in and got a goodie bag, which included this folder with our itinerary that basically told us what classes we were signed up for, as well as gave us general retreat information, talking about how breakfast and dinner every day were provided by the retreat, and lunch you're on your own. And then one of the first events of the retreat was we had a getting to know you session where we played retreat bingo. And I'll talk about that, but first I want to go through what was in the goodie bag. So, like I said, itinerary and folder. They gave us a pen so that we could, write things down as we go. There was a pencil too. Let me see if I can find those. Here's the pencil. It's a pink pencil. And it says Knitty McPurly. I did not even look at it before. I don't know if you can read that. It looks like there's a glare on it. But it says Knitty McPurly. You can take my word for it. So I have this, let's see. Who is this from? This is from, Woolen Works, one of the vendors there, Woolen Works. This is a yarn cozy. Knitty McPurly Devin gave us this lovely mini set, which I love. So you know how I said I wanted to start using more pink in my knitting? This is a good opportunity. This reminds me of Sweet Tarts, the colors of Sweet Tarts, other than the gray. This was from Sweet Mountain Crafts. She provided a mini skein, and this is a show colorway, as this is too. This mini skein thing, this is show colorway. I believe. Yes. And from Delightful Works, a little, what do you call that? Notions pouch. A little pair of scissors. This is, I assume this is from Knitty McPurly. A cute little stitch marker from Chicken Lady Fiber Arts. I'm assuming there is, oh, I can show you the whole thing. I was wondering, I thought maybe there was a code on there, but there is not. So she gave us a stitch marker. And some of these things I think are from our stitch marker exchange. Oh, we got this. Okay, this is one of the stitch markers I got from somebody there. But this State of Virginia one, that is from Devin herself, Knitty McPurly. She must have wanted to make sure that everybody got one of those. And then this holder for our stitch markers. But the funny thing is, multiple people were giving stitch marker holders. So I used a different one to put mine on because it was somehow it was more easily available to me at that point in time. This tape measure from Devin. A pen, a standard pen. A little, oh, this came actually in a little set. There was hand balm as well as lip balm. Fun, nice, handy. And then, yeah, these must be the stitch markers that came in it. Or I mean stitch stoppers. And then I think the only other thing I have in here is the stitch markers from the Stitch Marker Exchange, which is all of these, and I don't think that I collected them from everyone. So I have not counted them. I have quite a few. So I'll talk about the Stitch Marker Exchange because that just happened to come up now. But that was a super fun activity. So let me just say, we started the retreat with this big frenetic activity, which was the retreat bingo, and then ended it with another frenetic going all around activity, which was the Stitch Marker Exchange. So the Stitch Marker Exchange basically was a free-for-all, just going all over the big conference room and finding, oh, have I traded with you yet? Have I traded with you yet? And I came in late because we had gone to dinner and there was still at least another hour until the Stitch Marker Exchange. And I was like, okay, you know, I don't want to sit at the dinner table for another hour. I want to say it might have even been an hour and a half. And I was like, okay, I want to go and knit somewhere. I don't want to sit at the dinner table. So a bunch of us went out into the lobby to knit. And then the time came to do the stitch marker exchange, and I think it was even maybe a half hour before it was scheduled to start that somebody came out into the lobby and said, "Oh yeah, they're already doing it in there." And I was like, "Ah, I'm missing it. I need to go and get in there and exchange what I have." So, I quickly ran over there, and every seat seemed to be taken from what I could tell. So I'm just like, okay, just throw my bag down in the corner of the room and get my stitch markers and go. So it was a lot of fun. Just everybody giving and sharing and everything. These stitch markers, so many of them are so cute. And I really thought, okay, if you ever have the ability to do this at a retreat or whatever, I highly recommend you participate. And the other thing that I would recommend, a lot of people, not a lot, a few people, put a card on it to say who it's from. And I thought, what a great idea. I wish I had thought to do that, because, that's a nice way to remember who gave it to you. I mean, somebody crocheted a little circle. All these cute little things that people did. I've got the Arc de Triomphe. I've got stars and beads. Politically incorrect knitters. I love that. Wow. Good job, Anne. Anne Pinkava. I know she gave me this. She doesn't need a card to tell me that, because there's only 2 of them and only one of them was there. And then somebody else, okay, who was it? The person who made these told me that she did this. This person crocheted all these hearts and then used, is it decoupage? It's stiff. It's stiff. They sprayed them or soaked them or something and stiffened them to make this good solid heart. Was that Wendy? I don't remember. But thank you. See, now, if there was a card on it, I would know. But I'm not faulting whoever did it. I'm just saying, I wish I had known this ahead of time, because that's what I would have included myself. And I did not finish making mine. I tried to get them all done, but the thing I decided to make was way harder to make than I thought it would be. I thought it was going to be a breeze, just whip this up like that and glue this like the other and done. But it was not as simple. It all sounds easy when you talk about it and you think about it, and then you start doing it and you're like, oh, yeah, that's not that easy. So anyway, I would totally do this again if I don't think I told you guys. Saturday morning, the Saturday before the retreat, I woke up with a fever of 101. That fever lasted all day Saturday, all day Sunday. And then Monday morning, I woke up and it was down to 99 something. So I was like, okay, I'm better, but obviously not 100%. I had no appetite that whole weekend. I had no desire to knit or make anything for that matter. So that put a big dent in my ability to get things done and ready for the retreat. Plus, I had already signed up for this test knit. So, I was like, oh my gosh, what is going on in my world? So I missed Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at work because of being sick, and then flew out to the retreat on Thursday. I did go to the doctor on Tuesday and was diagnosed with influenza A. And the doctor said, as long as you are symptom free, you are safe to travel on Thursday. So I was like, okay, if you say so. Now, the only symptom I really had was a cough. And it was not like a hacking awful cough. It was an occasional cough, cough, cough. The funny thing early on is that I swear every single time I coughed over the weekend, I would start coughing a little bit and immediately sneeze afterwards. It was the weirdest thing. It was like, chew! And it was like always like that forceful, oh my gosh, sneeze. So anyway, yeah, that was a weird thing. Influenza A, 0 out of 10. I do not recommend. So the opening night, this retreat bingo, that was a lot of fun too. So what you had to do with that is find people who met these things, has a cat, has a dog, is left-handed, has met Stephen West, has gone to Rhinebeck, always follows the pattern. So she had some cute little things to find. And it was funny because things like has met Stephen West, is, if I'm not mistaken, there were 2 people in the room who had met Stephen West. So we had to find one of the 2 people, and people would point you in the direction. They'd be like, oh, she has, go find that person. So it was a lot of fun. I don't know if I could tell you again without reading this who did what, but I managed to fill the whole thing out and get a prize, and it was a lot of fun doing it. I don't know that it was as much of a get to know you thing as it was intended to be, because, you know, I feel like I should know the people. But it was more or less, hey, do you want this? Okay, sign it. Okay, bye. I gotta find somebody who's left-handed. And then a lot of times they'd be like, oh, go to that girl over there, she's left-handed. So it was fun. It was a lot of fun. Then let's see. So we started our night with the bingo. Then the next morning was classes. You know, start the day with breakfast, then go to classes. I had 3 classes on Friday. I went to Math for Knitters, which that was a really good class. Devin taught that class. And she went into a whole bunch of, like, I want to say she split it into 3 different sections. So it started with, what do you do to make something if you're not getting gauged? Did I say that right? If you're not getting gauge. So, you know, started with, okay, you can switch to a different size based on your gauge. And then went to, okay, you want to make it out of fingering weight, but it's made out of worsted weight, was like the next section. So the next section was, how do you make something if your size is not listed in the pattern? How do you do the math for that? And how do you know how much yarn to use for that? Then the last section was, you have a garment that you like in your wardrobe and you want to recreate it in yarn. How do you do the math for all of that? So it was really interesting. I can't say that I tracked the whole thing all the way through. I will say Devin did a good job of breaking it up, and what she did is she would play a song in between each section so that we would get up and dance and, you know, refocus our energy and be ready to pay attention to the next part so that, you know, our eyes weren't glazing over because it's just all this math. The next class, I think, what was the next class I did? I did like 2 classes right in a row. I don't think it was the steeking one. I think the steeking one was my 3rd class, but I'll talk about that one next. Where did I put that? I knit a headband out of Let Lopey, and I don't know if I have that here. Did I show some of it? Let me go look for it. I'll be back. Okay, so I have now my screen looks brighter. I have now looked at the class lists and everything, and indeed my 2nd class was the steeking. And our homework for that class before we went, we were to knit a headband, and it had a steek section on it that we cut. And then we knit this button band that we will add buttons to, and then you button it closed again. So the idea was just to have a small project that you can cut in class, and then you'll put it back together again. So I used Let Lopey yarn. This is, in case anybody wants to know, the Colorway. I'm looking. I think that part is maybe the Colorway because it says shade. So 1702 or 0291. I don't know. Anyhow, it's this pretty purpley, bluey, pinky color. So I used less than a full skein of this to knit this headband. I don't know that this pattern is anywhere out there in the world. It was written up as our homework, so I don't know that she has this pattern out there for the world to see. Rachel Tuck was the class teacher, and so this will go on like this to warm my ears, and I can finish it up with buttons when I have the opportunity to do that. I do like how this, like, it feels like it will keep my ears very warm. I wasn't happy with my gauge. I went up a couple of needle sizes because I know I am always off gauge. So I thought, let me do what I know usually works best for me and go up a couple needle sizes. And it's kind of a more open gauge than I would like. And in fact, I think everybody's headbands were way smaller than mine. But it fits around my head the right way. I feel like with the number of stitches that we were supposed to use, I got that kind of gauge. It fits exactly as intended. So I don't know. I will maybe put this together. The one thing that I did not like about how I finished this is when I picked up stitches, I can see the ridge here, but if you look at the other side, I don't have a ridge there. So I should have picked it up the other way in order to make an invisible join there. So it's not a super big deal. I mean, I didn't do this because I wanted this finished object. I did it because I wanted to cut knitting without feeling like, oh, this is a big deal. I can't cut this. I'm so scared. This was a great practice thing. So anybody out there who wants to try it, find yourself some non-superwash wool, knit just, you can do a headband, you can find a headband online that you like, and then pick up stitches for a button band like we did, or even just do any sort of little square and cut the square. What we did in order to felt this is we used one of those felting tools that you kind of just push down into it on top of like a pad. You just felt like, I think it's the same way that people make felted toys and stuff. Carista of Sweet Mountain Crafts also ran a wool felting class. I did not take that one. That was a very popular one. A lot of people took that class. She did smaller class sizes. I think she was doing every single session. She was quite the busy woman. But I did see some of those and they turned out super cute. It was just a greeting card. So you did like a very small thing and people could do whatever they wanted on it, make whatever picture they wanted. And then you just, I don't know if they glued it to the card or how they attached it. I assume glue. And it was super cute. The other class I took, is this the only other one? Yeah, I told you about Fit and Flatter with Holly. I told you many of the details about that class, which was a great class. You know, I can't thank Holly enough for taking that deep dive into all of those fashion tips to give us the amount of information that she did. We had a big handout that had all kinds of information in it, helped to determine your colors and all kinds of stuff, body shape, etc. The other class I took was a beading class, and that was run by Lori of Arkansas Yarns. And we had a class fee to buy this needle. I have linked Arkansas Yarns and this needle on their website below. So if you're interested in using this, it's a great tool for adding beads to your knitting. And I can show you the basic gist of how it works. Can you see the tip of that? I feel like it's very blurry. Oh, I think I see it. All right. So this has like a little hook on the top. I don't know how well you can see that or if you can see it at all, but there is a hook on that. And basically what you do is you take a stitch with this hook, you pull it off, and then there are little black stoppers on this to hold the beads on. You pull the stopper off before you hook your yarn. You pull the stopper off, you hook your yarn, you pull the bead over the stitch, and then you put the stitch back onto your needle and knit the stitch. It's as simple as it is. I would love to do something with this. It's a little fiddly, I will say that. This hook is so tiny that it can be hard to actually get the full, like all, what do you call that? All the strands. That's not the right word. But you know what I mean. All the strands of your yarn to get them over the hook and not split your yarn in order to put the bead onto it. That's the difficult part. That's the fiddly part. But I saw many examples of some really cute things that Lori brought, and this was a good class. This was a lot of fun, and I'm glad that I now have this tool for potential future use. So another thing that happened periodically throughout the retreat was that they opened up the vending for people. So there were different periods of time that they had the vendors open to buy from. So I bought this from Arkansas Yarns. You know how I said I wanted to, oh, it's upside down, that I wanted to use more pink in my knitting. This one, I was like, oh, that's pretty. It's so cute. And then you can see it's got just a touch of sparkle, just enough to say, I'm classy. I was saying at some point in the retreat, I was saying, I think Arkansas Yarns is like the yarn shop for pageant girls. This is a pageant girl skein of yarn. And I'm past my pageant girl stage, but I could still do some. Anyhow, I never was all that into the pageant thing. Pageant was part of baton twirling when I was a kid, and it still is today. We had what they called a pageant in baton twirling. Was you had to do modeling, which is stand and basically walk in a T shape. And then there was an interview. So you walked up to the judge, you sat next to the judge and had a conversation, basically. And then, so that was one event. The modeling with the interview was one event. And then the second event they call X strut or fancy strut, depending on the timeline of things. And that is basically a marching routine on beat with march music. And there is no tossing and true twirling of the baton. The baton was meant to just complement your body, and nothing totally out of the ordinary with the baton. I shouldn't say out of the ordinary. Something with a baton that's ordinary is twirling it, but in X strut, it was don't twirl the baton, just use it to complement your body. Anyhow, then the third category in pageants was the solo routine, that's where you toss the baton and do all the different crazy things that you've seen baton twirlers do. My favorite thing was rolls. Maybe I can demonstrate one day. I don't know. Hey, you guys probably do not want to see that. Anyhow, pageants. I'm done. I'm done. This is another thing that I got from a vendor. This was a skein of yarn that I bought from Sweet Mountain Crafts, and I showed you earlier. Did I show you earlier? This is the mini skein that came from Sweet Mountain Crafts. And that was in the goodie bag. And swag bag. That's the word I'm looking for. It was swag. Stuff we all get. So I bought this brown yarn to pair with this mini skein because I saw at Carista's display that she had a cowl that was made with one skein of this and one skein of this. And that was made by Sharon, who is a Cody Cowgirl Creates on Instagram. You should follow her if you're not. And you should also follow Sweet Mountain Crafts if you're not. And it was a super cute crocheted cowl. And it was just a triangle that she connected together. She twisted it to connect it together in back. And I thought it was super cute. And I was able to find the pattern that she made. She said she followed a YouTube video. And so I found that pattern. Anybody who's interested, if you bought the yarn to make that, if you did not find that pattern and you are interested in knowing what it is, reach out to me. I don't think I linked it below. You know what? In fact, I'll do that. I will add that into my show notes. It will be with the new to me section and this yarn where I tagged it. I will add a link to the YouTube video because I specifically, through Instagram, asked Sharon, is this the pattern? And she said yes. So basically it is a corner to corner blanket. It's a blanket, but she shortened it, made it, you know, instead of going all the way to the corners, she did it as a triangle and made it into a cowl. These are the two show colorways. So she had Tidewater, this lovely light green color, and she had Priscilla. And I thought the two colors looked fantastic together. And I just bought the pattern for Andrea Mowry's Moon Mint. And so I thought these two would make a nice contrast for that sweater. So that's my plan with these yarns. I'm so excited. I can't wait to make it. I won't be casting on anytime soon because I have other plans. I would like to finish some things before I cast anything new on, but look at how nicely those two show colorways go together. I think it's going to be fabulous. I went to McKinney Knittery. A lovely woman named Julie offered to drive us out to McKinney Knittery. And Julie is local to the area. Hi, Julie. And it sort of as things went on, it came out that I have a podcast. And she asked the name of my podcast, and I told her. And a couple hours later, I see her again, and she's like, can you tell me the name of your podcast again? And I said, PandemicKnittr. And she's like, oh, McKnittr. Oh, that's what it is. It's PandemicKnittr. And I was like, oh no, I don't enunciate well enough. This is not the first time that someone has heard PandemicKnittr instead of PandemicKnittr. So I'm like, okay, I need to speak more clearly when people are asking me the name of my YouTube channel. So anyway, I bought this cute little project bag from McKinney Knittery. I thought it would be a good souvenir from the trip. I also bought this self-striping yarn. Colleen, Selfish Knitter, and I got the same colorway, so we'll see how we do these differently. And then I just loved this. This colorway is so amazing. Oh, by the way, Night Owl Fibers, this is called Saguaro Cacti. And this one is from Twisted Ambitions Yarn. I had never heard of this one before. I believe he's a local yarn dyer. I'm assuming it's a he because it looks like there's a picture of a man there. It looks like Norm Macdonald, doesn't it? Anyhow, I know it's not. The colorway, I think, is called Luck. I'm assuming that's the colorway. Sweet Sock is the base, I believe. 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. And this is the same. This one is 463 yards, and this one is 437 yards. So I've never understood how they come out to different lengths when they're made of the same thing. I mean, less twist on this one so it gets longer. More twist on this one so it's shorter. I don't know. It's the only thing I can imagine. But I love these two colors. I could, ooh. With that, I don't know. I already planned to use these for that pattern. So maybe that pattern for these. Well, this one's not a self-striping one. I don't know. I wasn't planning to combine these, but when I saw them together, I thought, Anyhow, so I went back to McKinney Knittery because here's what happened. We went to McKinney Knittery, we went and got lunch, and then we went back to McKinney Knittery because not everyone who I was with had finished their purchases and we were all hungry. So I had a great salad at the pizza place nearby, which if you've ever gone to McKinney Knittery, right around the corner, there's this pizza place. I don't remember what it's called, but you should go there. So I got 2 Chalgu needles. I like the 40-inch cord. I prefer the fixed circulars. I got 2 US 4s. There've been a couple of times recently that I've been looking for a US 4 and couldn't find one. So I was like, I need to do that. And the other thing, I think I may have mentioned this on my previous episode, but I wanted to know how to wear a shawl in a way that you don't just want to say, get this thing off of me. So, a couple of people recommended a shawl cuff. This is a leather cuff with a snap. And I have not tried to unsnap it yet. I hope it's not too hard. But the idea is you put the shawl on. So this, I'll put this in the show notes somewhere, but this is a Joji Locatelli shawl that I knit for her knit along from September to November one year. So you put the shawl on. This is probably not the best way to put this shawl on, but then you put the cuff around it and essentially, and this is probably not the best shawl to wear with this sweater either, but you put the cuff around it so that it's cinched together and really doesn't move all that much. And then if I can do this, and I'm not doing this the best way at all, but then you can style it in a way that looks super cute, and then the cuff just holds it in place. So I don't hate this. As I'm looking at what I'm seeing on the screen, I apologize for the bouncing of the camera, but I could see wearing this shawl like this. This is probably not how I would choose to wear it. I would more likely do wrap it around like this and tuck the ends under and then cuff it here. And that way the shawl cuff doesn't show at all. And voila. And that should stay, right? So I'm sure I could arrange this better, but you get the idea. I do feel like this is going to hold and stay better. So I'm going to have to experiment with this, wearing a shawl in my regular life, and we'll see where I go with that. I think that's all of my, oh, no, it's not all of my new to me. In fact, there's something I did not put in my show notes that I found later because it was delivered to me. Yep. Okay, so this, okay, I want to show you the picture here. This is called a tumbler sweater. So I bought this from Tashi at Home, Tashi at Home. I believe she has her own website, not an Etsy shop. I'll link it below. I did not already do that. So when I'm editing, I will put that in. Basically, I ordered this mostly because I wanted the pattern. I didn't need the yarn. I've got yarn. But she included a sticker too. I've been watching her lately, and she's a very enthusiastic, bubbly kind of person who's very excited about all things crochet. And I thought that tumbler sweater looks really cute. So I also like this sticker that came with it. There's 2 stickers in there. Oh, and there's her logo, Tashi at Home. So I've been watching her recently, and I liked this tumbler sweater thing. I saw her, she sells the actual things at craft shows and stuff. So I just thought it would be fun to make one myself and see what I can do with it. I don't have a tumbler like that. I don't have one that has a handle. So I may need to buy a tumbler. I don't know. Okay. I've gone through everything that I see around me. I've gone through everything that I believe is in my list of show notes. So I do believe that is all I have to show and to talk about. I wanted to talk a little bit about my finish February plans, but I feel like we're getting into, like, this is way too long. So, next week I have a 4-day weekend. So, I should be able to find time to record, unless I get sick again, which is altogether possible because let me tell you something I have never seen in all the years I have been teaching, other than a stated worldwide pandemic. I've never seen them shut down a school for illness. On Friday, yesterday, the mainstream school that is on the same campus with us shut down. There were so many kids getting sick, and what I had heard, I don't know if this is true or not, I heard it through the grapevine, but 2 days in a row, I heard that at least 20 people vomited at school. And I'm like, oh, thank God I don't have that one. But they shut down on Friday because too many people were sick. And it wouldn't surprise me if part of that was we don't have enough staffing. Because some of the teachers were getting sick too. I mean, I was sick. I know one of my coworkers was sick over break. One of my students was out with strep this week. And strep was not even the problem at the mainstream school. So I went, because we had the day off anyway, I thought, you know what? I had developed a little bit of a sore throat on Thursday night. And I thought, if this is strep, I want to get it diagnosed, medicated, and out of my system before Monday comes and I have to go back to school. I didn't want to have to take another day off. I felt like I have taken enough time off of work. I'm done with that. So anyway, fortunately, my strep test came back negative. They did send it out to be cultured, and we'll see what happens from there. But no strep for me. Influenza A was it, and I do feel like I'm finally alert again. So, my best wishes to you and everyone you come into contact with for continued health or rebuilding your health, whatever the case may be, because this season has been no joke with the viruses. I hope all of your family is healthy. I hope you and your projects are healthy. And I hope you have plenty of time to join with friends and knit and craft as you desire. And as always, this is especially important right now, you guys. As I record, I am at 499 subscribers. I need one more to hit that 500. And then I can celebrate. I don't know. So please remember to like, subscribe, survive, and thrive. And please, if you have anything that you wish to say, please comment below. And keep surviving, keep thriving, and I'll see you in the next episode. I'll see you in the next episode. Thanks for watching.